This is a review of the 2015 Razer Blade versus the HP Omen. Let's take a look at the outside. As you can see, the Razer Blade is made out of aluminum, so is the HP Omen. And the Razer Blade does have way more metal on it than the HP Omen because the bottom of the HP Omen is plastic. So let's take a look at the thickness of the two. As you can see, the Razer Blade is really thin at 0.7 inches. And its design pretty much looks like an Apple MacBook Pro. And HP Omen here has its own unique language. As you can see, it is wedge shaped and the bottom is smaller than the top. And as you can see, the HP Omen is overall bigger than the Razer Blade because that's a 15-inch and the Razer Blade is a 14-inch. Stacking them on top, as you can see, the Razer Blade is thinner than the thickest end of the HP Omen, and HP Omen gradually tapers down and is also thinner than the Razer Blade, and the Razer Blade is all uniform. And as for ports, the Razer Blade has one USB 3 on the right side and an HDMI 1.4 and also a Kensington lock. On the other side, the Razer Blade has a microphone and headphone combo jack, two USB 3s, and the power, and that's about it. There is no SD card slot, Ethernet port, or display port. For the HP Omen, you have a lot more ports than the Razer Blade. As you can see, you have the headphone and microphone combo jack, the display port, HDMI 1.4, four USB 3 ports, and the charging port. Here's a comparison of the power bricks for these two laptops. As you can see, the bigger one is for the HP Omen and the smaller one is for the Razer Blade. HP Omen's power supply is rated at 120 watts, while the Razer Blade is rated at 150 watts. Even though the Razer Blade has a much powerful power supply, it's a lot smaller and sleeker than the HP Omen's. For the bottom of these two computers, as you can see, they both have dual intake vents, and HP is hidden under the plastic right here. Can't really see it that well, but there's a square, that's the fans, and the Razer Blade has a cutout opening, and you can clearly see the fans down here. So one is for the CPU and one is for the GPU. And the Razer Blade has two rubber feet down here that stretches all the way along the laptop to increase clearance between the computer and the table. HP's rubber feet is completely wrapped around the bottom, and it is also contains the screws under, which if you remove the rubber feet to open the laptop, you might not be able to put it back on. And Razer screw is on the side, so you can easily remove it, take the bottom off, and clean it. And both laptops have exhaust vents on the back. As you can see, HP Omen's exhaust is clearly shown right here, and it also glows red due to the LEDs inside to add more crazy looks to it. The Razer Blade's exhaust is behind the hinge right here, and you can't really see it, but once you open up the lid, it will open up the exhaust too, so it's just like a MacBook Pro. Also, the hinge on the Razer Blade is plastic, and it also acts as an antenna. The hinge on the HP Omen is metal, and HP also made it blue on both ends to make it look like a titanium car exhaust, and that's a better touch than the Razer Blade in my opinion. Both laptops are also fingerprint magnets. As you can see, there's a lot of fingerprints on the black paint right here, so if you're like me who have sweaty hands sometimes, you have to clean it more often. Both laptops have amazing displays. On the HP Omen, you have a 1080p 15.6-inch IPS touchscreen, and the resolution is 1920 by 1080, so it's like your HD TV. On the Razer Blade, we have a QHD Plus 14-inch IGZO touchscreen, rated at 3200 by 1800, so that's significantly more pixels than the HP Omen. And here I'll show you the viewing angles of both laptops. Let's go with the Razer Blade first. As you can see, the viewing angles is amazing. You really doesn't have that much distortions around. And for the HP Omen, the IPS technology, not as good as the Razer Blade, but still really great viewing angles. Let's talk about the specifications of both laptops. On the HP Omen, you have the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 860M with 4 gigabytes of video RAM. For the processor, you have the Intel Core i7-47HQ quad-core, each rated at 2.5 gigahertz and is overclockable. And for the system RAM, you have 16 gigabytes with 15.93 gigabytes usable. And for the display again, we have 1080p. And the storage, I have this maxed out at 512 gigabytes of PCI Express-based SSD. On the Razer Blade, we have a NVIDIA GeForce GTX 970M with 3 gigabytes of video RAM, so it's 1 gigabyte less, but it doesn't really matter on the real-world performance. And CPU, you have the Intel Core i7-4720HQ at 2.6 gigahertz. So both the GPU and CPU is more powerful than the HP Omen. And right here, I also have 16 gigabytes of RAM with 15.92 gigabytes usable. Screen is 3200 by 1800. And I also have this one maxed out with a 512 gigabytes M2 SATA SSD drive. However, the HP Omen has a PCI Express SSD and is rated at around 2 to 3 times faster than the SSD included in the Razer Blade. Customization-wise, the HP Omen does a lot better than the Razer Blade. On the keyboard, you get the RGB lighting, so that means there is millions of different colors for you to choose from. You can customize 3 different zones on the keyboard and the WASD key plus the power button. On the side, you also get 6 different programmable game buttons where you can do combination moves if any games require it. The speaker has red LEDs, and you can change the color too on that, and also pulsate with the music, even though it doesn't really do it too well. On the Razer Blade, we have a acid green backlight on the keyboard, and that's the only color you get. You can adjust the brightness of it, and it glows a lot brighter than the HP Omen. As you can see, the keys on here feels a lot better than the HP Omen. It's more stiff, more springy, and one of the best keyboards I've used. The HP Omen's keyboard is shifted to the side because of the programmable keys right here, so you might have to get used to that. HP included a great trackpad on the Omen. This is made by Synaptics, and as you can see, there's no buttons. So that means if you want to do a click, you just press the whole thing down. If you want to do a right click, you can use 2 fingers, or you click on the bottom right corner. The texture feels really nice, just like the MacBook lines. And overall, it's really responsive and really snappy. For the Razer Blade, you also get a Synaptics trackpad. It has 2 separate buttons, but it feels really cheap, as you can see. It's really light. It's not really heavy or anything when you press it down. But you won't be using it anyways if you're gaming. This also has a really nice feel to it, just like the MacBook Pro. So both have the same exact texture, and this is a slightly more snappier than the HP Omens, in my opinion. For the speakers, HP Omen came with dual Beats Audio speakers, one of the last laptops to ever support Beats Audio. Even though it says Beats, it's not really that good because the sound is not crisp, it's not really that loud, and overall it's really tinny. For the Razer Blade, it came with their own dual stereo speakers, and this has slightly more bass than the HP Omen, but it's a lot louder, so in my opinion, the Razer Blade speaker is better. As for battery life, HP Omen claims you can get up to 5-hour battery, and I only have 80% right here, and the calculation is 3 hours 17 minutes. On the Razer Blade, people says you can get 6 hours on this due to a larger size 70 watt-hour battery. I have 85% remaining, but it doesn't give me a calculation. So I can't really clearly tell you which one's better right now, but I feel like that the Razer Blade is better due to its bigger battery, even though it has more powerful hardware that consumes more power. So heating wise, the Razer Blade gets really hot, a lot hotter than the HP Omen while gaming. And also the fan is a lot quieter on the Razer Blade. As you can see right now on idle, The fan isn't even going, so you can't hear anything. On the HP Omen, the fan is always on. But when you game, because of the plastic back, the heat distributes better and is not as hot. In conclusion, both of these are great gaming laptops. Both sport their own unique design, and both are made out of premium materials, and both are very powerful. Razer does come with more powerful specs and are more compact and portable, but it comes at a higher price point of $2,700 versus $2,100 on the HP Omen. So if you're a hardcore gamer with a lot of money to spare, I recommend you to get the Razer Blade. If you just want an overall great multimedia laptop that does decent on gaming, get the HP Omen.